So hey guys, I wanted to pop back because when I did my last video, I was sort of trying to join the dots between Lively and Reynolds and their whole outlook that asking for a film by credit for the director to make that request was wild, according to Lively, and a vanity credit, according to Ryan Reynolds. And I'd already shown this still from Deadpool and Wolverine, which remember was only released the month before It Ends With Us, right? Where director Sean Levy has a film by credit, right? And Ryan Reynolds has no problem with this. And then I went and showed the first A Simple Favor, which is, I think it's about 2019, is it? 2019, 2018? Which is a film starring Blake Lively. The director is Paul Feig, and he has a Paul Feig film as his credit, which is, this is effectively a film by credit. And I was trying to find on YouTube a clip where the opening credits for Another Simple Favor were to see if he had the same credit in that film. And I felt that was important because Another Simple Favor, just to give proximity, Deadpool and Wolverine was released in July 2024. It Ends With Us was released in August 2024. Another Simple Favor, Lively scuttled off to Capri and filmed that almost immediately after filming It Ends With Us, before the premiere. So if she was okay with Paul Feig having this credit after she had complained about Justin Baldoni, then it becomes clear that it was just personal, and it was just she didn't want Baldoni to have the film by credit. And for me, it's flexing your power. It's like how much are you pushing and testing boundaries to see if you can get your own way. It's just like how far can you push someone to do what you want them to do, basically, I think is what happened there. And as we saw from now we know that Ryan Reynolds was actually controlling the whole Blake slash Sony cut of the film. I think the reason they didn't want the film by credit was because in their minds it wasn't Justin Baldoni's film. They had made it. So I think that's what that was, right? But anyway, if we go to so what I had to do, right, and this is just out of pure dedication to this cause, I couldn't find the clip of it on YouTube. So I had to watch the film at home on my TV and pause it at the appropriate point, which is here. This is a photo of my television. It has got, obviously, in the corner, Another Simple Favor. So we know it's the sequel and it's not just the first one. A Paul Feig film. So there we go. So it's just that request was born out of spite and so probably some delusion that they honestly believed that it was no longer Justin Baldoni's film anyway. It was theirs. I want to show something else as well. Lively made such a big fuss of the fact that she wanted photos of these boots, right? Pretty ugly boots, I think. I don't like them at all. Now, they're not identical, but in Another Simple Favor, she was probably wearing her own boots again, but they're similar. And I just want to show some similarities here. There we go. Equally ugly. So, the main purpose of me putting together this video is because I'm bringing over stuff that I put on X. I'm trying to bring some of it over onto YouTube because I know that not everyone has X. And it's just whilst I was going through the credits, I was like, hold on a minute. I actually watched the film last year, and because Deadpool and Wolverine had so many Easter eggs about all the drama that was going on with It Ends With Us, right? And I thought, no, there's no way she then skipped off immediately to film this film and did not leave any kind of Easter eggs or references. So I watched the film just to see what did it have, right? And 7 minutes in, Lively's character Emily says, "You'll be getting a subpoena soon." Right? And when you hear now listen to that, now knowing, 'cause, this was on the 1st of May last year, yeah, I put up this post on X, and, the 3rd of July, was the date on the subpoenas that she sent to 107 content creators. Um, she also says her character also says lawsuits can be a real killer. Lighten up, I'm busting your balls. It might have been a little nod to the, I'm a ball buster text. Emily's, no, not Emily, sorry, Anna Kendrick's character, Stephanie, says something, you can't push me around. I'm not the same person. Let me just double check what it is, actually. It was actually Anna Kendrick's character says, "You can't just come in here and bulldoze me, Emily. I'm not as nice as I used to be." And then Lively's character, Emily, then turns around and goes, "Oh, sweetie, you were never that nice. You were just too afraid to be mean." And it felt like that was a dig at Justin Baldoni, specifically, actually. That's how I read it, because that's what she was saying about Justin Baldoni was, "Oh, he keeps portraying himself to be nice." And that was the whole foundation for Nice Pool as well, was to take the piss out of his niceness. But someone, you know, she's got this real issue with Justin Baldoni being a nice person, or kind of portraying himself to be a nice person. But I think she kind of telling the truth there. You were just afraid to be mean, which, so, to me, I see that as a reference to the fact that Wayfarer just wouldn't push back, wouldn't get nasty, at least publicly anyway. They may have said some things privately, and why shouldn't they? But yeah, that's how I took that line. Lively's character also says, "And if I do try to murder you, it will make an amazing sequel." Again, possibly reference to the fact that I think they tried to scrub Raoul's character from the sequel. Or it may have been a reference to, pushing Justin Baldoni out as a director, because there was obviously the sequel, and we do know that there was that I think a lot of this is the fight for the sequel. We know Ryan Reynolds attempted to purchase the sequel from Justin Baldoni around September. September 2024. And that did not happen. And now we know Lively is salty because, she's claiming as part of her lost opportunities that she's not going to get to star in a sequel. And she really does seem to feel aggrieved about that, despite the fact that she publicly shunned the director from promoting the film with her, and then shoved him in the basement for the premiere. I mean, most people would not still have a job if they did that to their boss. And it is also true as well that as the character was walking away, she did say, "And if you don't do what I want you to do, basically, if you don't come to my wedding in Capri, then I'm going to have to sue you into oblivion for using my name and likeness. So you can do things my way, you can do what I want, or I will sue you." And obviously, there's the reference to the sue into oblivion. Now, it may be completely unconnected. That may have been a scene that was, shot in reshoots, which would have been after Friedman's appearance on the Megyn Kelly show, where he referenced suing into oblivion. It may have been a coincidence that Lively said that, and then Friedman said it, or it could be that Friedman was aware of the line somehow. I don't know. More likely to be the first, in my opinion. I think it may have been something that was added during reshoots, which came after Friedman's appearance on Megyn Kelly, where he said that he was going to sue Lively, Sloan, Reynolds, etc. into oblivion. Um, okay. What else did we have? Oh, a child actor who says fuck twice and asshole all within 30 seconds. Now, remember we all got outraged by what Lively's own daughter was made to say on Deadpool and Wolverine, and how she had to say it against her will hundreds of times. I found this quite wild that a child actor said all of this within 30 seconds. I can't remember if the child actor was the son of Blake Lively's character or Anna Kendrick's, but it was one of them. Okay. Oh, and then a bit later on, Sean, so that's Henry Golden's character, asks Stephanie, Anna Kendrick's character, how Emily, Lively's character, convinced her to go to Capri. And the line is a little emotional blackmail, a potential lawsuit, sort of dangling my livelihood over my head, just girlfriend stuff. And it felt a little bit like the first part of that about the emotional blackmail and the potential lawsuit and dangling of the livelihood. Felt a bit like, echoes of what Lively actually ended up doing. The girlfriend stuff, I don't know, that may have been a nod to Taylor Swift and her part in all this, all the help that she kind of gave Lively. Oh, there's reference to branding as well. So Lively's character says it's a branding opportunity. You should get on that shit. And way back, I think it's been scrubbed from the internet now, but during one of those interviews, Lively is asked. This is during the promotion of It Ends With Us. Lively is actually asked what first drew you to this movie, and the answer she gives is, "It was a branding opportunity." I cannot find it for the life of me. I think it's been scrubbed, but I know Anita does sleuthing, found that, and it was in one of her videos. So I'll have to see if she knows where it is. See if she's still got a copy of it somewhere. Lively's character also says, "Did you know that married couples cannot be compelled to testify against each other in court?" She also says, "The key to the shackles of deceit is the truth." And then finally, so people are aware there was some kind of incestuous sexual assault done on Lively's character by Lively's other character, which was her identical twin sister. I've got it written down here actually. At the time, I think I actually said, which had to have come from an unhinged mind, and I stand by that. But the question I had over that was there an intimacy coordinator? So there we go. That kind of just wraps up all of that and brings up together. I think, I don't know for sure whether these things were, like little Easter eggs, but I fully believe, especially after the dragon emoji, even. So when Lively did her whole statement about being the voice of a woman, etc., who's being abused and all this crap, or everything she's not. That statement she did after her sexual harassment claims were dismissed, where she had the little dragon emoji. Everything is a game. Everything is a little joke, and they leave these little things for us. We're finding them all out, and they take nothing seriously at all. And there was absolutely no way in my mind that, they did put all those Easter eggs into Deadpool and Wolverine and did not do the same with Another Simple Favor. I don't believe it. So there you go. That's my offering. Make of that what you want, but let me know what you think in the comments.